just the whole place went off. It was a really cool vibe. Like I think those two are the standout ones for me, because the first one was obviously a writers' round and it was great, and then with the second one it was great to be over there with the full band and proper giving it socks.
How did the US audiences take to you? Well,
yeah. That was almost my biggest fear, because obviously, like, for me doing what I do, in order to get to where I guess I strive to be, and kind of what I got envisaged in my head, America had to kind of like what I was doing. And I guess, yeah, sort of, it was within 2 months of the first record going out, we basically got invited to go and play Springboard Festival out in San Diego, and my first experience of American people hearing my music was I had 4 guys who had all won Grammys in front of me on this panel. I had 200 American musicians stood behind me, and I had to basically play them my song over a set of speakers.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like this. They have like these like judging panel things, they call them. Yeah, and I was again, it was one of those things that could have gone either way, because obviously being a British guy doing country music, I was like, are they going to think I'm taking the mick?
Yeah.
Are they going to be offended? But yeah, the guys love it. I got a production deal in Nashville off the back of it, and it all kind of it worked out nicely. But yeah, that was kind of like my first sort of moment where I was a sink or swim moment, really, because as I say, I was kind of like, okay, I'm in America, I'm doing it now. And it's just sort of grown from there, really. Every time I go out there, I meet someone new, and we do something new, we do something different, and there's the opportunity to go back again. So it's kind of what we're working towards.
You found people really welcoming and quite happy to help you open doors.
100%, 100%. They like the fact that it's something different, with a British act doing kind of what they would usually hear, but as I say, with a slightly different twist on it, and just something a little bit different. They seem to have warmed to it, which is really nice. So we're getting there little bit by bit.
I'd like to get your opinion a bit on the state of the UK country music scene. You've been in it for a few years now.
Yeah,
you got in it pretty early when it was starting to grow. In the past 18 months or so, it seems like it's shot up quite astronomically. So where do you see it going next? Obviously, we had the first ever British Country Music Festival last year in Blackpool, which sadly isn't happening this year. But that's the first festival. Obviously, Buckle and Boots, it's been going for a fair while now, but that's always had US acts in as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
To kind of draw the headliners in.
Yeah.
But where do you see it going?
For me, I think it's only going to keep going. I think it's only. I think there's the reason for that being is I think that it's sort of founded with a very strong core foundation in terms of the people that are sort of buying into it. I think being a country music fan is an identity and a way of life. It's almost like going back in time to when you had like subcultures in the 70s. And I feel like it's that kind of idea where being a country music fan is an absolute identity. That's where it seems to be going to me, and that's kind of why it's making it so relevant to more people more frequently. But also, as far as artists are concerned, it makes it easier to get your feet off the ground, because if people are coming out to shows and people are coming to festivals and people are buying your merch, and I played 125 shows last year. Like, I could never have dreamt of doing that as an unsigned artist, as a pop act. Just would never happen. So there's people want it. People want to come to the shows, and you can jump in your car with your acoustic guitar and just go out and play a show anywhere. As I say, my ratio of playing shows between basically playing solo and playing band is probably about 70-30. You've got writers' rounds. You've got there's so much sort of content, I guess, in terms of live shows to be consumed, which is what makes it feasible for us as artists as well.
Yeah.
It's only going to feed the sort of the strength of it. I guess the next big step really over here is having a British act that gets consistent radio play. Obviously, you have the Shies, you have Ward Thomas, but then also is then able to sort of properly break it over in the States along lines with. I think that's where I probably see it going. I think the minute that happens, the minute that happens is when it will really truly explode commercially, and where country music will become cool, as it were.
Do you think it will happen?
I do think it will happen. Yeah, I really do, because I think the music industry over here has become way too oversaturated and it's been doing it for too long in terms of what the mainstream music is putting out, and I feel like it's going to need something new.
Yeah,
I think we've been riding off the back of sort of mainstream pop, and then hip hop, and then sort of obviously the British grime scene that's come off the back of that, which is all cool, which is all great. But I feel like it needs something else that's more representative of what So I guess like melodic music.
Yeah.
People still want it. You can see that. You can see that when you go out and play shows and you go out and play festivals. People want melody.
Well, guitars are always due back every so often, aren't they? Once they disappear, they come back.
This is it. And I think if they can make it, if they're making it work, obviously, we don't have the culture that obviously that the American country music scene has, but I think it's got perspective and it's got authenticity. From what I've experienced so far, I don't think it necessarily needs it, because if I'm you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm never going to sing about tailgates. I'm never going to sing about whatever it may be. But I can still make country music without singing about those kind of things. So I don't think it necessarily needs that years of history and culture in order for it to be successful. I think it needs fundamentally it needs great music, and that's the bit where we're getting to. Like, as you say, over the last 18 months, I think the quality of what's being put out in terms of production and artistry and songwriting has improved.
So, any artists we should be listening out for at the moment? Anyone you want to recommend? Yeah,
there's a few guys that I work with that I work with for a reason. There's obviously Kelsey's great. Kelsey Bovey, I've been working with her for a long time now. Got to see her journey and how she's growing, and her new record is awesome. She's written some absolute killer stuff on there. Deliveries on it's great. Really happy with the production. Got another guy I work with, Bob Fitzgerald's really kicking through at the moment, and also Charlotte Young as well. She's really great. So I would say those three at the moment are sort of ones that I've sort of seen develop firsthand and sort of get a taste of them and their songwriting. Yeah, some really exciting stuff coming through there.
Perfect. So last question. So we'll scrap the first half of this year. Let's hopefully look at the second half of this year and maybe the first half of 2021. What's on the cards? What are you looking to achieve? I know it's a bit crystal ball at the moment.
Yeah, no, we can give it a go. I mean, for me at the moment, if everything goes to plan, fingers crossed, we'll be getting back out to the States again. I think we're going to have a look at sort of exploring the West Coast a little bit more, and then after that, we are still booked in to play in Lithuania. I've got a festival over there in August as well. So yeah, I mean, sort of we've still got a few festivals booked in for the back end of the summer, sort of moving into September, which should be great. Got a bunch of shows in October, November as well. I mean, for me, I want to obviously just consistently keep releasing new music. That's always a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So obviously, that'll be, we'll continue doing that. Hopefully have at least another 2 songs out before the end of the year, once we release this new single as well. So it's just working towards that. So we've been focusing a lot on merch and branding as well. So we've got some cool things coming out in regards to that. We've got new logo, new merch coming out. So yeah, just keeping it consistent, keeping it ticking over, and hopefully kicking down some new doors over the pond again.
Perfect. Danny McMahon, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Danny McMahon there, a lovely guy, just an absolute pleasure to chat to. You didn't hear it in the recording, but we spent quite a bit of time talking about people's great hair. Elliot Joseph, who's a fantastic sort of country folky British songwriter, incredible long hair. He will emasculate even the most masculine of men. And Matt Spracklin, the DJ, who has also got strong hair. Danny McMahon, just a lovely guy to chat to. And I'd also like to thank Rachel Selleck, his manager, who couldn't have been more accommodating in getting this set up. So thank you very much to both of them. If you want to listen to some of Danny's music, you can find his stuff in all the usual places, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. He's also very active on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. His new single, My Kind of City, is out on the 15th of May. Coming up next week all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, a man who was described by Rolling Stone magazine as having the gravelly twang of Steve Earle with Chris Stapleton's range and bigger hooks. You do not want to miss this one. I'm going to be in conversation with the amazing Carl Daniel. If you've not heard his music before, get yourselves a head start and go listen to his song God Bless America, Down Rock and Roll. I'll see you here next week, same time, which is wherever you want, and same place, which is wherever you are. Please do like, follow, subscribe, etc. to the show, which if you didn't realise is called the Total Country Podcast. You can find the show now on Apple Podcasts, Google's Podcasts, Spotify, all the good places. The show is Total Country Pod on both Facebook and Twitter, and if you want to contact me via email, it's totalcountrypod@gmail.com. So that's it. I've been an Angel. You've been great. Have a good week. Keep it country. See you next time.